Good morning, everybody. I hope you guys are, good morning. I hope you guys are awake and ready to rock and roll here. It's 9 in the morning. I know it is a struggle, especially if you are listening probably with your pajamas still on. I would be listening with my pajamas still on, so I don't blame you. So I'm glad you're here. So if you can just tell me that you're here by putting your name in the text box or saying hello, that would be great. I wanted to get a good sense of who's all here and who's ready to listen and learn some things. Good morning, Katarina. Good morning, Erica. I see you guys. And if you had me before, you know that I like to drink my coffee as I teach. Hi, Maria. How are you? It's so glad to see the names. I'm so glad to see the names and see like a response. And there's some names I know because I've had them in 1301, but those that I didn't have in 1301, it's good to see. It's good to see you guys, even if it's just like this. How are online classes going for you guys? Um, Not necessarily my class, but overall in general. How is it going for you guys? Are you finding it difficult? Are you finding it challenging? Are you loving it? Let me know in the text box. I'm kind of curious to see how it's going. We're in week 3, so by now you should get a should know like how it all functions. Um, what do you guys think? Oh, Maria, you have no idea how ready I am for the weekend. And by the weekend, I mean all the grading that I have to do. All the grading that I have to do. Katerina, you're saying that it's very difficult. How so? What are you finding difficult about it? Erica, how about you? How are you finding the online classes? How do you think it's going? Are you loving it? Are you hating it? I am pretty sure there are some students who are loving it because they can just do everything and be done with their lives for the week. Um, there's a couple students that I have across my 5 classes that are just the millisecond it's up at midnight. Like I'll go to sleep and when I wake up and check it, they've done like half the lesson. They're just on it and they're just ready to rock and roll. All right, so you guys let me know why it's difficult or why you love it. I'm very curious to know. Let's go ahead and get started here. Um, so I want to talk about your extra credit. Let's talk about really good things. I was actually writing it up. I didn't get a chance to finish it. So I don't want to show you the actual assignment sheet for it. But I do want to talk about it. It will be up. Um, Ooh, excuse me, all the coffee. I'm so sorry. It will be up in the welcome here, welcome start here module on the references in the references folder. That's where I keep everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it in there once I'm done writing it. But I can tell you about it. But let me go ahead and read these things. I learn best in a face-to-face setting, so the discussion boards are hard for me to keep up with. I enjoy your setup because we follow a list, but in my other classes, it's his first time, so he is having difficulty setting up modules. Yeah. Classes online is very different since I have to take 4 classes and tons of homework from each course, and what's worse is that there's a limit for each homework and I feel rushed. Yes. Uh, so just so you know, you guys aren't the only ones who are having difficulties with teaching online. 60% of our classes, um, yeah, 3. Like if you're doing a full load of online, you are swamped. You are completely swamped. Um, 60% of our classes this semester are online, and a lot of teachers, including myself, aren't used to teaching online. I usually use D2L as okay. Here's this thing you have to read, or here's where you turn in your essays or turn in your papers, right? I had to get trained in 3 weeks on how to use D2L in a new way. So yeah, your professor is not well versed in it. A lot of us are not well versed in D2L. Those who've been teaching in D2L before, this semester's a breeze. Those who haven't, like me, it is difficult. And it's also difficult for us who haven't taught because we have to create lessons that we would have done in a face-to-face class. We have to rethink the lesson and decide how to best proceed online, which is why you have a bunch of discussion boards, because 1302 is a bunch of discussions. Even if we were in face to face, we would be debating things in class, which is, I think, probably why a lot of people signed up for my class, because I like it when you guys debate. So yeah, it's difficult on this side too, and I feel like I'm constantly messing things up. I'm constantly messing things up as far as D2L. I forget to click on something and then something's not upright, and I get from angry emails from students. So we will make it through. We have this semester and one more semester of online because we won't be back on our campus by earliest in the fall. Yes, in the fall. So use this semester as a learning experience and saying, all right, so if I have to be online next semester, then how many classes? Maybe I take fewer classes, or maybe I take classes that aren't discussion heavy or are more discussion heavy. Kind of feel your way. So use this as a litmus test. I'm done preaching. Okay, let's talk about extra credit. Oh, Katerina, I know you like debating. This is why I'm so sad, because you would have, oh my gosh, it would have been so good. Okay, so let's talk about extra credit. So your extra credit is about opinions and writing your opinion. So let me do a screen share here. And my 1301s do lots of screen shares with me. So I'm kind of sort of used to giving that. All right, so let's go with screen share. So I am showing you a picture of the Howler. This is your school newspaper. And so this is what it looks like now. But also, this is also your extra credit. So your extra credit is to write an opinion piece for the Howler. You guys know how to write an opinion piece because you know how to break one down. If you know how to break down an opinion, you know how to write an opinion. So you're going to use all 8 elements of argument, all 8 of them, to write an opinion piece for the Howler. Now, the opinion piece could be anything. Let me show you the list I was starting to write here. And again, this isn't quite official. This is what it's starting to look like. And I will put this in when it's complete, which will be today, probably within the hour or two. Give me a chance to have breakfast. This will be in the reference section of your Welcome Start Here folder. So your opinion piece will need to be 500 to 700 words. It could be about anything you have a strong opinion about. So the topic's really open. I've given you some topics here, but this isn't the limit. I can't tell you this is what they're looking for, but anything is good. So anything about politics, local, state, national. Maybe you wrote a very opinionated discussion piece on the kneeling or not kneeling. It's still a hot topic right now, so maybe you want to take that and make it into a full-blown opinion piece, 500 to 700 words, and maybe that's what you submit. Maybe there's something on campus that you like or didn't like. Maybe you don't like the fact that there's so many online classes and that we should have more face-to-face. Or maybe you like the response that the school is doing with the flood, or maybe you wanted to know more. I can tell you, I kind of wish you guys could see pictures of what the inside of the buildings look like now. They are to the studs. They are to the studs and to the concrete slabs. Excuse me. They are gutted. So maybe that's something you want to talk about. Maybe you like the fact that you don't know that much about the campus because it would hurt too much, any pop culture events that are going on, anything in pop culture, maybe the latest Kardashian thing. I don't know. I don't know about you guys in pop culture. Or any reviews on the latest movie, television show, book, or graphic novel. Those would be really good as well. Some of you who, again, have had me for 1301, you guys know how to write a review because that was an actual essay that you had to do. You genuinely just take that structure and write a review on the latest television show. Not something that like was shown in a year ago. So nothing Sherlockian. Those who like Sherlock, because the latest was a year ago. But something recent. We just had a bunch of TV premieres, and maybe you want to review a premiere of one of the new TV shows, or maybe there's a book that came out that you really liked, and you want to review that book. So this is how I'm setting this up. You're going to be allowed to write 2 pieces for the school paper, and for each piece that you write, you're going to receive 5 extra credits for a total of 10 extra credit points, and that is put on your grade at the end of the semester. If your piece gets chosen to be printed, it will count as an additional paper grade. We only have, if I recall the 1302 structure for a 10-week class correctly, you only get, I think, 3 papers total, and that includes the research paper. Having an additional paper grade will help raise up your paper grade. All the papers are weighted, or all the sections are weighted. So maybe you don't do so well on the first paper, and so you're like, oh my gosh, my paper grade is low, even though my discussion grade is high. So that kind of washes it out. So if you turn something in and you get it published, that's going to be an additional paper grade, and that will raise up your grade. So that is your extra credit. Again, that will be in the reference folder under Welcome Start Here. Any questions? I'm gonna stop the screen sharing here and see if there are any questions. And I see the lag here. What's so cool about talking and watching what you guys watch at the same time is that I know how much time lags between what I say and what you hear. So I'm going to drink my coffee and wait to see if there's any questions. Yes, Erica, it is. Oh, are we going to get awesome cupcakes? I still have very vivid and great dreams about your cupcakes. Oh, November 4th. Erica, Katrina, we should probably have something for your birthday. That's cool. As as they were saying there, as what they're looking at, didn't say about the due dates. So there are 2 due dates for this, right? So and these due dates are around issues that the paper is doing. So October 23rd is the first due date, and it's by 11:59 p.m. You're gonna turn it in. You're going to turn it into them, but because I'm their advisor, I get to ask who gets to turn it in, so I'll know who turned things in. And November 6th is the second one. It's also by 11:59 p.m. I also have to put in the email that you have to submit these things to, these pieces to, and you're going to want to submit it probably in the body of an email. I'll have to ask if they want it as an attachment or body of an email, or if they have another way of wanting the pieces. So that will definitely be in there as well. Any questions? Y'all are still on the birthdays. Okay, so I will move on. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about news versus opinion. we had a bit of an issue last week with the rhetorical on the analysis of a article versus an opinion piece. Um, let's go to screen share because I think that uh, we need to nip this in the bud. Screen share. Okay, so what I have for you here is the New York Times. Now, we're using the New York Times this semester because we just got an account. So the whole school has access to the New York Times and all the resources it gives out to college campuses. So you can read the New York Times for free every day if you so choose. It's completely up to you. We're not using the Houston Chronicle only because it takes some of the stuff that what I would want to see would take like a login information of which we don't have. What we do have is the New York Times, so that's why I'm using it. So I have to make this disclaimer. So let's look at the New York Times. When what was interesting about that assignment, and that I didn't expect, is that there would be so many people confused between what an article is and what an opinion piece is. And even looking at the argument analysis that was due yesterday, I did a quick peek this morning, and for the most part, there were some good things. There was still some issue about article versus opinion piece. So let's look at a couple of examples here. So an opinion piece is exactly what it means. There is an opinion. It is the opinion of the writer. It is just it is their issue. It is their claim that they are trying to prove or disprove. It is their thoughts. It is of the writer, or in this case, the editorial board. Now, in a basic newspaper, this is where people get hung up. The editorial board is the viewpoint of the paper, and I'm putting paper in quotations because it is not that they take a poll of everybody in the building and say, this is what we're going to write about. The editorial board, essentially, depending on the paper, is made up of not only writers, but probably people in the community and whatnot, and they write an opinion piece, and that is considered the voice of the paper, but it is not the voice of everybody in the paper. That's the difference. And it's always separate from the people who gather and write about the news. So that is where people get kind of confused about, but that's an opinion piece. So this right here that you have where it says opinion, these are the opinion pieces. This right here, these are news pieces. So this is information that is gathered from different sources. They put it together and they write about the event or the issue that is going on. There is seemingly no opinion. And I say seemingly because some outlets, you can totally tell, even in their news, they're very right-leaning or very left-leaning. New York Times has been known to be very left-leaning. um, and I've actually seen some where I'm just like, guys, what are you doing? You're the paper of record. But for the most part, they're pretty down the middle. There have been some that I've questioned. So I'm just like, why are you making my job so much harder? So let's pick an opinion piece here. And I hope this is helpful to you. So an opinion piece will literally say opinion, right? Contributing op-ed. Op-ed means opposite of the editorial page. That's just some newspaper jargon there. It really doesn't make much difference to you. All you need to know is that an op-ed writer is an opinion writer. And so you have here, you'll usually have the author's name, everything and everything else that they write. This person looks like they are on staff and they are paid to write opinion pieces. That is an actual job. In case you're wanting to know, that's an actual job, and actually it's a pretty sweet job. I've done it myself. So you have here, probably in the first paragraph or in the first sentence, their opinion. Saudi women are gaining the right to drive. American women are losing the right to employer-provided birth control. That is definitely an opinion, or actually it's an opinion-esque type of statement there, because they're literally telling you what the claim is right in the first paragraph. In the opening paragraphs, you will see the claim, because they've got to tell you the claim before they can give you the evidence, before they can give you any assumptions or talk about audience at all. So that's how you know if it's an opinion piece. Let's look at a news piece here. Let's go back to home. I hope this is helpful. I really, really hope this is helpful. Let's go here. Let's go here. This is their lead story here. Trump's tough talk on NAFTA raises prospects of PAC's demise. That's a really good headline, by the way. All right, so we have, of course, the author, and this is the reporter here, Anna Swanson. And what we have here, we have a dateline. The dateline is like where it was reported from. And so let's look at the first paragraph here. The North American Free Trade Agreement, long disparaged by President Trump as bad for the United States, was edging closer toward collapse as negotiators gathered for a fourth round of contentious talks here this week. That is news. These are statements of fact. Their North American Free Trade Agreement is a statement of fact. The president saying it's bad for the United States, and he actually said that even during the election, that's a statement of fact. Closer towards collapse is an interesting phrase, but they're gathered for the fourth round of contentious talks. This is about an event that is happening in Washington about the North American Free Trade Agreement. That's NAFTA. So this is a news piece. This is not an opinion piece at all. So that's the difference between opinion and news pieces. And so when I ask for an opinion piece, please watch out for those details. See how it says economy here? This is an article about the economy. An opinion piece will say opinion. You can also go to sections here and you have a whole opinion section. All the opinions. Dun, 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 dun. You have editorial opinions, columnists writing. See when we talked about pop culture and what's going on in pop culture. As far as your extra credit, you can write about Harvey Weinstein and what's going on there. So that would be a good topic. These are all opinion pieces. All of this. See all this wonderful stuff? You can even show more. So these are all opinion pieces. You can read through there. Jamel Hill's firing from ESPN for things that she said on her Twitter against the president. That's definitely an opinion piece. Senator Bob Barker and the comments against the president, opinion piece. So all of these, whenever I ask you for an opinion piece, this is where you want to start looking for things. And you can search things by event here under search. Very easy. And then look for the opinion pieces that way. Whew, I hope that was helpful to you guys. I want to talk, now that I have it on screen share, I want to talk about doing some research, but I want to go back to the screen right here to make sure if you have any questions on anything. Yes, Maria, the Lone Star is open for you guys to do homework or studying. There's the tutoring place, and I'm glad you said something. There's tutoring that's upstairs at the SCC, which is going to be very helpful very soon. You can also use the Atascocita Center, and you can use the library at the Atascocita Center. That's open to you as well. And then you have MCED, which is the East Montgomery County Improvement District. It's off of 59. We have actually some space there, but you can do some studying, Maria. Katerina, um, you know, yes and no. There's not going to be an official like I'm going to help you out like office hours because I have no office hours. You can always use Skype, and this I have office hours is on the also on the syllabus. My Skype name is there as well. If you want to like add me to Skype, you can. Everybody has access to Skype because we're a Microsoft campus, so you can do that. I am going to say that I am up on campus at the Kingwood campus every Tuesday because I meet with I meet some people up every Tuesday, and I usually am available around 11 a.m. We're usually done around 11, and I'm at the SEC over by the what is that? The cafeteria slash bookstore. So I'm usually around that area. So if you wanted to come up there around 11, um, or if you need to be there at 11:30 and you need me to wait around, just let me know and I'll wait around for you. And then we can meet in person. Um, and that's what I can do right now. If it's to like talk about like a certain lesson or how to expand a certain lesson, then yes. If it's something like, oh, could you look over this and make sure that it's like written well, go to the writing lab, which is upstairs. Let's talk about the writing lab here right quick. I really want to discuss this because yes, okay. Yes, save this. Save it all. Awesome. Okay, so let's talk about the writing lab. This is the flyer, and this flyer again should be in your resources, sorry, your reference folder. The writing lab, and I'm telling you guys this now because your first paper, I'm going to give you the topic of your first paper here in the next week or so. And the first paper is really going to look at everything that we've read as far as the bigger pieces like Letters from Birmingham Jail, Harrison Bergeron, Capital Punishment, which is your next lesson for next week, and then Monstrous, which is the week after that. I would start, if you're a slow reader, I would start reading that now, actually. So all those four pieces are all tied together by a theme. And so your paper is going to talk about the theme, or in your paper, you're going to talk about the theme and the argument that the theme is making, or the argument of the theme. And you're going to give me some examples and some evidence there. So it's a major paper, right? So you're going to take all the lessons that you've learned the entire semester so far, and you're going to put it together in a paper. So this is why I'm giving you the writing lab now. If you start going to the writing lab now and working on your discussions and looking at them as mini papers, not as, oh, I've got to do this and it's like 11:50, I got to write this real quick because it's due in 9 minutes. If you look at them as mini papers, it's going to be a lot easier for you to do that paper later on. You should be able to still access like the discussion boards from Letter from Birmingham Jail. You won't be able to post it, but you should be able to read through it because I kept them open, but closed it to where you can't upload anything. So you should be able to go back to your discussion boards and read through things, read through your posts, people's response to your posts, other people's posts, and glean some ideas. And that's why I'm wanting to put this bug in your ear, because it's going to be a major paper. It's your first major paper. You're also going to be able to use your journals, ideas and thoughts from your journals also to do so. So if you look at your journals also as mini papers, and they're not long, they're one-page double-spaced papers. So that's why you got to get to your thoughts quick. Then your paper is going to go a little bit easier as far as trying to get the idea, trying to formulate the idea, formulate your opinion and your argument. Get it, my friends? I hope so. Let's go here. Jocelina, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, I'm glad you're here. You missed everything. I taught everything today. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. All right, I have, um, we're going to talk about research. All right, so because you are 13 and 2 and you are arguing, I highly expect you to learn to use the research um, part of the library. So you're going to go to, here I am, doing things without explaining them. I'm sorry. Let's go back. All right, so you're going to go to the Lone Star website. And let me backtrack a little bit. The reason why I want you to use the resources from the library, in particular the databases, is because A, they're there and they're free and you already paid for them, so you might as well use them. And two, whenever you're talking about an argument and you want evidence, evidence is not, oh, this cute saying that I saw on Instagram or on Snapchat or whatever, that they had a pretty background and I agree with it. Evidence comes from actual physical evidence. You probably learned this. There's two types of evidence: anecdotal and 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 evidence that you can actually track, like charts and graphs and stuff. Um, the better evidence is the second. It's the stuff that you can chart, graph, some research that folks have done, and that proves your point better. Especially if you're looking at the reasoning, especially if you're looking um, at trying to use persuasion. Now, remember, persuasion is that you lose some ground in order to gain some ground. It's not the typical definition. So let's hit libraries here. And I want to show you where they are. And I know I've done a video of this, of where to go for Credo, if I remember correctly, because you had to look up Utopia. Same type of thing. I'm going to show you a different section of it. So you're going to hit libraries and you're going to hit research databases. That's where you want to go. We're in English class, so for the most part, we're going to hit the literature section. And now that we're in the literature section, we have all this wonderful stuff for us. What you really want is that you want reference and overviews, right? And that's where you find Credo. So if you want to learn more about, say, the things that we read, like Harrison Bergeron and Capital Punishment, you want to know more about the authors, you're going to go to Bloom's Literature. Now, if you want more like basic info, you're going to want to go to Literary Criticism and Articles, I believe. Yes. You want to go to Literary Criticism and Articles, and you want to go to Academic Search Complete. That is a general multi-genre, multi-discipline database. So if you're doing something for, say, like history, or if you're doing something for criminal justice, this is also a database you can use. So it's not just for English. You're going to hit LSC Online Users Login, and it's going to take you to this wonderful login that you are probably very familiar with. You're going to log in. And this is your Academic Search Complete. If you were with me in 1301, the librarian brought you this. This is one of the first databases she brought you in. This is the very good database you should use whenever you're looking for like evidence for your discussion posts or for any papers that you're doing, or if you're curious about something. So we talked about Utopia. So maybe you want to talk about Utopia or utopian societies here. So you put in Utopia. And then here you have all this wonderful research on Utopia and what people think about it and what it is. You even have it in different languages. So what you want to hit is full text here on the side because you actually want to be able to read through things. And here you have a whole list of things. You also have a bunch of results here. Look at this. Boom. 1 through 50 of 7,000 results, right? So of course you'll want to like frame it a little bit. Maybe it's Harrison Bergeron. Maybe they have something. I don't know. I've not done the search, so let's see. Nothing. Oh my gosh. What if we did this? Nothing. So they have nothing on Harrison Bergeron and Utopia, but you can talk about Utopia and maybe utopian societies. See how there's some things that like come up. You could do utopia and dystopia, real socialism, utopia for realists, utopian literature, and you have some stuff here. So if you're talking about evidence and you want to back up your argument with evidence, this is where you go. And I wanted to point this out because we're going to be using this for your research paper that's coming up. And I would rather you guys learn about it now than a bum rush for it later. Use it now, so that way when you're ready to do the research paper, you are well versed in this and you're ready to rock and roll. We do have a librarian embedded in our in our uh, in our class, and she'll be introducing herself very soon. Um, and so you'll be able to ask your questions as well. Any questions from the peanut gallery? Let's see. Nothing so far. You guys are very quiet. I don't like that you guys are quiet at all. All right, let's see. We hit news and opinions. Um, let's talk about rubrics. This, as I have messaged you guys before, that there's going to be additional rubrics for you guys for the discussion posts. The rubrics are attached to the current discussion post. So last week was the last week we didn't use rubrics. This week is the first week we are using rubrics. And I'm seeing that you guys are adhering to some of the things in the rubrics so far. The rubrics are attached to every discussion post. So you can click on it and see what you're going to be graded for. It's the thing at the end that says what I'm grading for. You click on it and the rubric comes up. And so you can see what I'm going to be grading for. One of the things I do want to say is that grammar is going to be a big thing. It's a big chunk of your grade. It is an English class, so I expect you to work on your grammar as you're doing this. Please don't not capitalize I. I is a word, it's capitalized. Please remember where the commas go. Remember how the structure goes. Discussion posts aren't something you want to do at the last minute. Everything's a building block to something else. Everything builds on top of everything else. When I am putting a discussion post out there, I'm thinking how you can use this later on for, say, like your paper that's coming up, or for your research paper later on, or to add to another discussion post. It is not something that you want to look at the clock and say it's 11:30. I should probably do that discussion post that's due here in like 59 minutes or 29 minutes. You want to do some work on them. And I'm saying this, I know I'm probably preaching to the choir, but you want to do some work on them. And that's it. Journals. I have a note here that says that I need to talk about journals. Yes, journals. Your journals are graded. Yay! I have graded your journals, and I have used the rubric that's in the syllabus. Yay! So you should have your grades there. Every journal not only has the grades and the comments from the rubric that I use, but I've also written some things on the actual paper. So if you could go and see them, that would be very helpful. Oh, excuse me. Oh, I'm so sorry. Very helpful, especially when we're talking about doing, when we're talking about grammar and we're talking about making sure that you have everything that you need in the in the discussion post. Do you guys need me to show you where to find the directions on how to see the notes that I have put on your paper? I will wait while you say yes or no in the live chat. Yes, please. Okay. I'm going to do another screen share. Don't be alarmed. I don't know what I would do without screen share. All right. Eric, I asked and I am going to deliver. Okay. All right, my friends, let's go to your course. Here you get to see the back end of D2L. This is the teacher's view. You see all this stuff? This is all stuff I have to grade. Okay, let's go to Comp 2, right there. You guys are my only Comp 2 class this semester. Okay, so this is what your class looks like. At least some of this should look familiar. It's similar to what you guys see. There's some differences, of course. Oh, Oktoberfest is happening in 15 minutes. Have fun. Okay, so what you're going to do, of course, is going to go to Content. And in the Welcome Start Here module, you're going to click here. Other reference materials you're going to need, you're going to click there. And right here where it says how to check the comments on your papers, you're going to click there. And here are the actual literal directions on how to check the comments on your paper. It is literally like 2 sentences. This is how a student checked their papers. So this is from the student's point of view. A student wrote this out and it's been shared throughout all the land being the English department. So you're going to go back to the Dropbox, and there should be blue for everybody. A blue bar there that's the Turnitin similarity. You're going to click on that button and then agree to their policy, then hit grade mark on the upper left-hand side, and your marked essay should appear. And every essay that I grade, whether it is a journal or your actual physical papers, has markings on them. The only thing that will not have markings are your discussion posts, because I literally cannot mark on it. So that's why I'm using the rubric. If there's something not quite right, like you completely missed the mark on something, then you'll probably also have a note from me kind of explaining it. But pretty much for the discussion posts, you're going to rely on the rubric. But for your papers and your journals, it's going to be this. Everything has a comment on it, even if it's something like you missed a comma here. I like having discussions with students through the paper, so there may be questions that I ask you on there saying, I don't understand this, or what do you mean by this, or give us some examples on what you mean here. And those are, you can use them as marks, or you can use them to actually start a conversation with me. And you can say, oh, that thing in that essay that I wrote, this is what I meant. And then we can have a conversation that way. And that way, whenever it's the next time you do a discussion post or a paper or a journal, you know more of what I'm looking for, and you also know how to argue better. So that's another thing that I built into the course to help you guys a little bit more, since we don't do face-to-face. Any questions? Looks like I have an email here that I'll be checking after. Just waiting for you guys to catch up. So let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm pretty much done with my list of what I wanted to talk about and clarify on. Do you guys have any questions? Is there anything that you guys want to know? Anything that you guys have any questions about as far as the lessons? Anything about how things are going? Anything you want to know about the next lesson? Because I'm planning it now. I'm putting things up. You may get like little announcements that I've put something up, but you can't quite access it yet because it's not time yet. That's me putting things up for your lesson. Katerina, I'm surprised you haven't had your coffee. You live on coffee. Why do you not have coffee in your hand right now? You know better than this. Mm. So if you don't have questions, let me know you don't have questions so I'm not sitting here waiting for questions. Yeah, me too. Katerina, literally me too. I was like, oh, it's in the morning. I should probably get up to get ready for this live stream. And so got up, got dressed, got ready, slapped on some lipstick because I looked a little pale, put on some earrings because I looked a little weird, picked out the fro, got online. That was my life. Erica, no problem. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope this clarified some things for you. So I was a little worried because I had these live streams with my class all the time, with my 13 and 1 all the time. And I hadn't had another one with you guys yet. Not all the time. They've had like 2. Um, so I haven't had one with you guys yet, and I wanted to have one with you guys to make sure everything was kind of copacetic. You guys are doing really, really well in the course. I'm really happy with what's going on. There's a couple of things I need to clarify. Hopefully this video goes towards it, but definitely about the meaning and the structure of the 8 elements of arguments. It's the basis for the entire course. If you don't get the 8 elements of argument, you can't get anything else. You can't get the next poem that's coming up. You can't get the graphic novel. You can't get like the social issues thing that's coming up as well. Your research paper is just out. You got to get the 8 elements of argument. If not, you're going to be lost the entire semester. All right. Looks like there's no questions. Thank you very much, you guys, for watching. If you have any questions, go ahead and email me, or you can put them in the questions discussion that I put on D2L. Oh, I haven't checked to see if there is any questions in the Q&A discussion board. So there is a wonderful discussion board that I put up there. I'm not quite sure anybody put any questions on there. I didn't see any last night morning. Let me see if anybody put any questions in there. Hopefully somebody did. Civil disobedience. No questions. So where it says questions from the live stream, it's right, it's in this lesson. So questions for the live stream, if you have any questions, and it's not like something that's just for you, just like I want to talk about my grade, but it's something general, go ahead and put it in there and I will answer it. So that way everybody has the answer to the question, because if you have that question, other people will have the same question. All right. Looks like we're done. I have nothing else. I had a whole list of things that I wanted to talk to you guys about, and I've done it all. So, yay! All right. Well, if you have any questions, you know where to put the questions. You know where to reach me. Bye. All right. Katerina, get coffee. Erica, I miss your face. Doselina, I hope to meet you soon. Maria, I hope to meet you soon. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.